This video will be appearing on our YouTube channel. We'll send you a link to that as well, so you can look at it on there. This is the first one we're doing in a program of I think it's 8 strength and conditioning classes. Now, kind of a bit of background to us for those who don't know. You know, we're a social enterprise. We're based in Leeds, and for the last few years, we spent quite a lot of time delivering a lot of projects designed to get people, particularly older adults, you know, like me, more active and fitter and healthier into older age. The reason we're doing that is we feel really passionately about it. I personally, during COVID, I went on a bit of a journey in the sense that I did a fitness course and then I specialised in doing a higher level course in specialising in fitness and exercise for older adults. And the more you read and the more that you research, you realise the huge benefits that you get from not just exercise, structured exercise, but any kind of activity, any kind of movement, but also, and I never knew this until I was probably, you know, well into my 50s really. I never knew, you know, that as well as the cardio, as well as the running and the cycling and the football that I did, you know, and a bit of swimming or whatever, or dancing if you do that, which is all great. But if you don't couple that with some strength and conditioning training that targets all your major muscle groups, then that muscle wastage and that loss of strength and size of muscle is going to mean that when we get into later life, we're going to lose functionality. So it's really important to combine the two. The chances are, I know a lot of people on this call already do a lot of cardio, but it's the strength stuff that we don't do. So that's what we're going to do today. From the age of 30 is peak vitality. From the age of 30, we're losing 1% of our muscle strength and our muscle mass. So the endurance in your muscle and the strength in your muscle, you're losing roughly 1% a year, you know, from quite an early age. But with strength training and conditioning training, you can slow down that decline, and in many cases you can actually kind of reverse it. And if you do this on a regular basis, and by regular, we're talking about 2 strength conditioning classes or sessions a week, a couple of cardio, do one of our online, your yoga or tai chi, they really help with your balance and your flexibility, and then that is a great kind of package of exercise. But this is the one that, as I say, most people, you know, probably, you know, don't get round, you know, to doing. So I'm going to demonstrate 9 exercises today. I wouldn't say it's carefully, it's reasonably carefully kind of created this program so that we target all the major muscle groups. So it's like, you know, your shoulders, your chest, your back, hamstrings, glutes, quadriceps, and all of it, plus the 2 at the end, you know, will to some extent work your core as well. And that core is so important. It's the core, it's the centre of your kind of your biological universe. And if you get that core stronger, then everything else, you know, your posture and your gait and your ability to do stuff, you know, falls into line, and you get into a kind of a virtuous kind of circle really of getting fitter and stronger. Finally, sorry for blabbing on, well, these are the benefits, you know, of strength training. So you get the benefits in terms of stronger muscles and better endurance, which helps with all functionality. You're talking about getting out of the car, getting up the stairs, getting out of the chair, getting out of the toilet, carrying the shopping, playing with your grandkids, all that stuff. This will hugely benefit your ability to do that, you know, way into old age. Other benefits are you kind of replace some of the fatty muscle with lean muscle, and that means you get a lower metabolism. A lower metabolism means that you burn more calories from a sitting state. So while you're watching telly, once you've got stronger muscles, you're burning more calories, so it's great for weight management as well. It's good for toning and conditioning, so you look good on the beach, you know, and your trunks on your bikini as well. So there's that going for it. Good for the heart, good for the mind. The stronger muscles, you know, is important for physiological and scientific reasons, a little bit beyond me, but it's connected to transmitters and messages to the brain, which are really important in stopping us from losing our kind of balance or coordination. And and therefore stopping falling as well. So what other benefits we got? I always forget some of these. So yeah, so you get better mood, better fitness, better strength, and lastly, what we get is that kind of posture and the like self-efficacy they call it, and that apparently is one of the main reasons why people don't exercise. They don't feel like they're able, they don't feel like they're strong enough or fit enough. But this will improve that kind of self-esteem, that self-efficacy, and you'll want to do more. As you do more, you get fitter. Boom, bingo, virtuous circle. Wow, what a lot of waffle. So a huge amount of benefit. So let's have a go at demonstrating some of the exercises. So we're going to do 9. The first one, so some of them will require a weight. For the time being, it doesn't matter if you haven't got a weight. I've got some here because we were going to have some people coming along but they weren't able to make it. So you need to find a weight that is that suits you, that works for you. So for the first one, it's just a squat, so we don't need any weights for this one. So when we do need a weight, I'll talk about how heavy. So for the squat, good posture. We talked about this before, so we've got the knees slightly bent, we've got the chest out, we've got the chin up, we've got the core engaged. Well, I like to have my arms maybe in prayer position across your chest, then you're sticking your bum out and you're sitting down into an average sized chair, okay? So we're going to do 10 of these. So your weight's in your heels, that's the crucial thing. So you're not leaning forward because your weight's in your heels, you're really sticking that bum out, your spine and your back are nice, your spine's neutral, your back is straight. And we're going to do 10. That's 9, that's 10. So between each set they'll have a rest, so let's say about a minute's rest. Now when we progress, we do this with weights. So when you're doing it with the weights, that's working your core more. So your core then has to work harder to keep you from falling forward. So you find a weight, so in my case it'll probably be maybe a 5k weight for this one. So on the shoulders, and now I'm working that core. But for the time being, let's just forget about the weights and get that squat right. Okay? So that's 1, so we're going to do 3. So again, feet a bit more than hip, shoulder width apart. Think about that good posture. And then down we go. So 10. You feel that burn there, you feel a burn, should be a pleasant burn, if you're not a painful one, in your thighs and your quadriceps. We're really working the glutes, the quads, and the hamstrings. All the muscles you need to spring out of that seat. Yeah, to get up those stairs. 8, 9, 10. Okay? And then another minute's rest. I was going to say then, so yeah, so we're not using the weights for now, so we're going to do one more set of the squats. Another variation of that, just while we're waiting, if you it's a sumo squat where you have your feet a little bit further apart, your feet at 45-degree angle. If you do that, you really feel like you're stretching there, yeah, your inner thighs. That's a good one for working your inner thighs. So when we get onto the variations, then that's something to think about. Okay? Right then, so one more set, 10 reps. Let's go. Think about your posture, try not to lean forward, really have that weight in the heels, really stick that bum out, have that spine nice and neutral. 6, 7, should be slow, should be rhythmic, maybe a little pause at the top so you don't build up the momentum, so it's your body doing all the work. 9, 10, okay, so that's the squat, so we're working there, quadriceps, hamstrings, core. We've done 3 of those. So for the next one, we're going to do what they call a deadlift. Now for this one, you would need a weight. So I should have thought about this really. The people coming online wouldn't have had the weights with them. But stupid me, didn't. So for this one, you just have to imagine that you've got a weight. So in my case, I think something like a 5 kilogram weight would be enough. For most of these, just like a bag of sugar or a bag of flour would be absolutely fine, but for the deadlift we're going to do now, you probably need a slightly heavier weight. That's something we can think about, and all of you who are on the call, if you want any help with sourcing some weights, we could do that for you. I find that the 2 sets of weights probably enough. I'd use the 5 kilogram for this dead weight here. I'd use the 2 kilogram for the shoulder press. You might need something a bit, just starting out a little bit less. But normally just 2 sets of weights would be enough for all of these kind of exercises. Last thing to say about what kind of weight you need is, we'll get onto bicep curls in a minute, so I'll explain then how you work out how heavy your weight should be. So for deadlift, we'll be picking up a weight, so we're going to have the feet just hip width, maybe shoulder width apart. We'd have the weight just in front of our toes, and we're going to be doing a hip hinge, so bending from the hips. If you can, I can't, you keep your knees locked, go straight down. I have to bend my knees, that's absolutely fine. We're going down slowly, picking up the weight, and then bringing you slowly back up, keeping the weight close to the body, and then you get to the top, just really crunch those glutes, yeah? Really squeeze those glutes, and then back down. That's one. As I say, trying to bend the knees, nice and slow and controlled. I mean, little pause at the bottom, up, squeeze those glutes, then back down. And we're really working the lower back here as well as the hamstrings again. That's 5, 6. Yeah, this is the one where you need a heavier weight, or the only one where you need a pretty heavy weight. 8, 9, 10. Okay, so that's 10 of those, then you get a minute's break. So rather than go through each one of those again, I think we can move on now to the next one. When you're doing this yourself, do 3 sets of those between 8 and 12 reps. So let's have a quick drink. So for the next one, certainly I'm using just a bag of sugar. It would be, or a bottle of milk or something would be fine. I've got 2 kilogram weight here for this one. What we're going to be doing here is a dumbbell row. We're going to be working the back and the triceps. So we're starting off with the weights on the floor, the feet hip width apart. I'm going to reach down, pick up the weights, and then in a rowing fashion with the back. I say, if you can, get your back parallel to the floor, that's good. If it's a bit different angle, that's okay. Try and get your back parallel to the floor, and then working those triceps, working that lower back. So if someone put a cup of coffee on your back, it wouldn't spill. So we do 10 of those. 4, knees nice and soft. 5, you really feel that stretch there in your triceps. 6, 7, 8. Apart from anything else, you need to have strong biceps, you need to have strong triceps as well, so it's important for both of those muscles. Okay, so that's 10 of those, working the lower back and working the triceps. So you find a weight that, for me there, is a 2 kilogram weight. You might want to use a 1 kilogram weight, you might want to use a big tin of beans, or lots of people use like a flour, bag of sugar, something like that. What we can do, we can source you a few people, some weights to get you going. So the next one, we're going to be in a shoulder press. So we're going to be working the shoulders, front of the shoulders, anterior deltoids, and also the chest. Okay, so This time I'll have the like goalposts, upside down goalposts again, good posture with your feet a little bit more than the hip width, the shoulder width apart, knees soft, core engaged, and just lifting up, touching at the top and then back down. Slow and controlled, it's rhythmic so we're not building up. Pause and then back up. So I'm thinking of this one, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've seen this shoulder press, if you ever go to the gym, on a shoulder press machine, pushing up, just replicating that machine. That's 10. Okay. And then about 1 minute's rest. Now there I had, for example, a 2 kilogram weight and 10 reps, and I reckon I could have done 3 or 4 more. And that's what you're aiming for. So whatever weight you're using, you want to aim for some way to get in there. There we go. Yeah, so what we're trying to aim for is get to that weight. So when there, I've just done 10. I could probably do 2 more, but not much more than that. That's about right. If you get to, you've done 5 or 6 and you're starting to lose a little bit of form, so for that one you might be starting to wobble a bit, your weight's too heavy. Or if you get to 10, you've done 10, and you feel like you can do 6 or 7 more, the weight's probably too light. So try and get to that point where you can do 10 reps, maybe do 1 or 2 more. But then that would be your lot. Yeah. Okay, so there's 3 sets of those, with a minute's break in between each one. The next one, this would be a bench press. We haven't got a bench. We're just going to do it from the floor. So do it sideways on. This time we're going to be pushing away, so we're working the biceps and we're working the chest. So I would use, the 5 kilogram weight for this one. This is when you might see people, when they're bench press, Americans in particular talk about how much you can bench press. This is what we're talking about, but we're not competing with them. We're just going to do 10. So head on the floor. Arms getting a bit like upside down goalposts, and we're lifting the weights, pushing away and feeling. The muscles are working here, working these chest, pectoral muscles. Nice and slow, control. We hold at the top of your touch, and then down. So you're pushing away from your body, so you're working, again, your tricep and your pecs, your chest. 6, 7, touch. 8. I'm just starting to wobble a little bit now, so maybe this is a little bit heavy for this one for me. I'm just about to do 10. And then slowly put the weights down. So that's about right for me. So yeah, 3 sets of those. Chest, triceps, 1 minute gap in between each one. The next one, do bicep curl, so I've all seen this one before. Working the bicep, funnily enough. So feet, I would say, shoulder width apart. And we can do this in 2 ways. So we can do 1 at a time, we can do 2 at a time. For this first session, we're just going to do 1 at a time. We're going to be working that bicep muscle, contracting that muscle, and that's what's going to be working in. Okay, we're going to do 10. So have the dumbbell pointing forward, and then do a twist so it ends up like that on the shoulder. So right, and then nice and slow and controlled, back down. So have a weight that you can do 10 with, but not too much. Or if you get into the place where you're starting to wobble a bit, then you know then your weight was just too heavy. You need to be doing 10 7. You count that as 1, don't you? So that's 8. That's 9. Good posture all the time. Don't forget to breathe. I'm thinking, well, if you did, you'd be in trouble. 10. Okay, so again, it's slow, it's controlled, it's rhythmic, but you can feel that muscle working, contracting that muscle, working your bicep. So 3 sets of 10, about a minute's rest in between each one. So we've done the bicep, we've done the tricep, we've done the pecs, we've done the lower body. What's next? Next we've got a tricep. All the one for the tricep, so this one we call a tricep. The kick back. So we're going to do this one standing up. This time we're working the reverse of that bicep muscle, the tricep. And it is important when you're working your muscles that when you're working the front of the muscle, you need to work the antagonist, the one behind. So if you're working your quads, you need to work your thighs, your hamstrings as well. You're working your biceps, you need to work your triceps. When you're working your pecs, you're working your trapezius, your upper back as well. And this session is designed to make sure that you're working all those muscle groups in roughly the right order. So the tricep kickback for me, probably slightly heavier weight than I would use for the shoulder press. So we're holding that weight up above the head, like it was a trophy. I just won the World Cup. Yeah. Don't quite lock your elbow. And you're slowly letting your hand, your arm down, and you feel that stretch there. And your tricep again. 10 of these. This one starts off quite easy, and then with this weight I can feel it. So you shouldn't be arching your back like I was just doing then. That's a very bad example. Think about that good posture. Don't banana your back. Shoulders shouldn't be moving, it should all be coming from the elbow. And your back should be nice and straight, spine neutral. You've put that, the first 3 or 4 that feels so easy, and then that's 8. I'm really starting to feel this one now. 9. 10. So you do 1 on the right, and 1 on the left. 3 sets. 3 sets of 10, and a minute's break in between each one. Another variation of that, there's always variations. One you can do on a chair, you can have weights. If your feet are just maybe 1.5 foot in front of the chair, and you just be working there, working those triceps, you're dipping into the space in front of the chair. You might have seen people do this one before, so that's a way of doing it without the weights. But then we can go on to adaptations in the next session, where you can do different variations on similar exercises. Okay? So the last 2, you won't need a weight, you'll be glad to know, which is the plank and the sit-up. So the plank and the sit-up directly work the core. We talked about it before, how important that is. Everything else to some extent is working your core, but these 2 absolutely directly address it. If you've not done them before, a plank is quite hard. How long you hold that for, that's up to you. You build up, I would say, if you just do 10 seconds, that's fine. Yeah? Just do it the right form, the right technique. Get to a point where you think, gosh, that's enough. And then slowly build it up. But you do have a minute's rest in between each one. Do it for as long as you can. And the next, maybe in a couple of weeks' time, you might go from 10 to 15 to 20 seconds. But the correct way, we're doing a forearm plank rather than a high plank. So on the floor, on your forearms. So that'll just be under your shoulders. And then you lift your knees off the floor. And so your back is nice and straight. Again, the test would be if someone put a cup of coffee on there, it wouldn't spill. Yeah. Do you know when you put in the air, just holding that, and you hold that for. And you really feel there that your core you're really working your core to hold yourself up. This is your body weight creating the resistance against which your core is having to work. And you get to a point where you just collapse like that. You're doing enough then. So whether that is 10, 15, 20 seconds, make sure you're doing the right technique. And you're holding that, you're really clenching your buttocks, your glutes, and engaging that core. You're holding that. And you have a minute's rest. Repeat that twice. And that is really, really working your core. Do it slowly build that up. But believe me, the more you do that, the more you can kind of hold it for. You might start off just taking short space of time. On the variations of that one, we'll do variations, as I said, in sessions where you just go up, down. That is hard. Another one would be a high plank. That would be a high plank with the shoulder tap. So again, you're just trying to keep your body still. Your core is working really hard. That's another variation. For the time being, all the bother around. Straightforward, all on plank, engaging that core, squeezing those glutes and holding that as long as we can. And doing 3 sets of that. 10, however long you can hold it. And then the last one is the sit-up. So again, we're directly working the core. You don't need to come all the way up. It's going to come up 3 inches off the floor. The key thing with sit-ups is you don't use your momentum. You don't go fast. Nice and slow, nice and controlled. So when we're sitting, position, knees bent, hands just behind the head. You can see that. That's probably, there's 2 ways of doing it. One, we just lift up, make sure we're engaging that core. You can really feel it in your core. Sometimes you can do it like that. It feels really easy because you haven't engaged your core. But you need to make sure you tuck that tummy button in towards your spine, and you tense it, and you just feel it. And then down. You've got the floor. Don't quite have your head going back. Do 10 of those. Or the other way, just to move your hands slowly up your thighs. So start with your hands down there, move from the top of your knee, and slowly down. Make sure that core is engaged. So that's 2, 3, 4. Just feel them out. 4, 5, 6, 7. Pause at the top of your momentum. 8, 9, 10. And then the variation on that, the one that's kind of recommended, was quite hard, so I'll left that out for now. Be like the bicycle crunch. So for this one, you'd be bringing your left elbow over to your right knee with a bit of a twist with your chin just off the floor. So that would be your legs in the air, and then a twist, and again, this was really, feel like really working your core. And if you could do that one, maybe that's for the next time. Whoop, falling over there, nice twist. And again, you do that one just for long, for as many seconds as you could before you're really tired. But for the time being, I think just do that one that we did first, lying down, just lifting your trunk off the floor by a few inches, just making sure that core is engaged, doing 10 of those, 3 sets of 10, and all in all that should take about 20 minutes. And that will be your strength conditioning session. Next week when we do it, we'll do a few kind of variations, a few adaptations, a few options as well. Like there's a wall push-up, so instead of doing like a straight-on press-up, which is really hard, you can do a press-up from the knee, you can do a press-up against the wall. It's a really good one for for your chest and your triceps again. So other variations on those exercises, all with the same theme that you work in the major muscle groups. And that, if you do that twice a week, believe me, that will increase the strength and endurance in the muscle. You need the strength in the size of the muscle, for lifting, for carrying the shopping, and then the endurance as well. you know, the actual size of the muscle. So people, when they get older, you know, you might hear them say, well, I can't walk as far, you know, as I used to anymore, and that's because they're just losing that muscle strength. So what we're doing now will enable you to sustain that muscle strength, you know, way into, you know, with a bit of luck, you know, into your 80s, and you can still walk those long distances and do all those tasks that go alongside a healthy, fulfilling life. Okay, I hope you enjoyed it.